June 7th is going to be a first for Fortnite, bringing us 3 new passes in the exact same day, not only for Battle Royale, but Lego and OG, of course, which we've got to showcase skins for already leaked in this video today. Not to mention details on the first update of this season and when it's confirmed to be releasing in Fortnite Galactic Battle. A crazy announcement Epic Games have made about giving us a ton of money back for previous purchases, and let's not of course forget Fortnite Mobile returning after being stuck in Chapter 2 Season 3 and when this is going to be. Just before we hop into that, before you pick up the Battle Pass, don't forget to slap code FM1 in the shop, literally being one of the shortest and easiest codes to enter, only 3 digits long, literally takes like 3 seconds. I don't make the rules, Charlie the Charcoal Pug does, and it's been an incredibly hot day, so don't let this little pug down, get entering the code now. A new season means a new Battle Pass to give to tons of subscribers, so make sure you are subscribed with all notifications turned on and comment your Epic Games ID down below if you want it, and that way I can hook some of you up like this person on screen today. No messing around, diving straight into it. We are here to clear the confusion up about this season, despite discussing the update, which we're going to move on to in a second, which we're about to see. Of course, this season is only a month long and in the middle of the year, and many people initially thought it was going to be called Chapter 6 Season 3. After all, it makes sense. Last season was called Chapter 6 Season 2 Lawless, obviously having the name of the season and then the number of chapter and season itself. This time around, however, considering it's just a collab season lasting for a month, if you haven't noticed from the cosmetic description from Battle Pass items in your locker or things that have literally just released since the season started, it says introduced in Chapter 6 Mini Season 1. Fortnite are aware of the fact that not many people are calling it Chapter 6 Mini Season 1, and for that reason sent out a survey on multiple different topics, and here's what it stated. On May 2nd, Fortnite introduced new Star Wars themed content and updates without looking anything up. Which of the following do you think the official name of this Star Wars related season updates? As you can see, we have a bunch of options, and the only one I can think of that actually makes sense is Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 3 Star Wars Galactic Battle, even though I don't think they need the Star Wars in there. After all, we got revealed to the key art, right? It said Galactic Battle, and we thought it was going to be called Chapter 6 Season 3. So to be honest, the fact that they called this Mini Season 1 in the item description just further validated all the leaks we have regarding next season, which apparently is going to be called so far Chapter 6 Season 3 instead of Chapter 6 Season 4. This was the list that got leaked in case you missed it. Superhero Academy theme, Midas funds the Superhero Academy, Superman Power Up, similar to Godzilla with Fortress of Solitude POI, Fortress of Solitude replaces Mass Meadows, obviously saying goodbye to this location next season, a Robin skin being the sidekick of Batman, which doesn't really make too much sense with Superman being introduced, but obviously we already have so many different Batman variants of skins, the Masked Daigo skin that succumbed to the thrall of the Dark Presence finally becoming a Battle Pass skin, and him being a main villain next season, alongside 0 Point sprites upcoming, so we're going to get different ones despite giving us shield and allowing us to glide up in the air, and then the Utopia City POI replacing Seaport City, so we can say goodbye to this location as well. All of this is exciting, and I'm guessing Epic Games are considering changing the name or kind of like number of next season from Chapter 6 Season 3 to Chapter 6 Season 4 to avoid any confusion, hence why this survey was sent out to content creators, alongside another one as it seems they're experimenting, obviously going into this collab based season, with Disney now owning a big portion of Epic Games. That's why we've seen a Star Wars season for a month. Obviously Disney right now, if you didn't know, owns the Star Wars franchise itself, and as you can see, Fortnite asked some players of their ideal chapter length with options ranging from 1 month to 24 months, which for a whole chapter, which typically right now lasts a year, depending on the structure of it, as it looks like we're going to be seeing a mini season 2, which many people speculated to be The Simpsons upcoming before we see Chapter 7 at the end of the year. It makes sense that they are a year long or 12 months like I previously said. 1 month is just absolutely crazy, and on the other spectrum of that, 24 months or 2 years is just too long right now for everyone's attention span with things like YouTube Shorts and TikTok. Without getting too incredibly ahead of ourselves, however, if you can't remember the schedule of this season, of course right now we're in Pull of the Force, hence why we got this trailer released for it. May 22nd we enter Mandalorian Rising, May 29th when we see the final downtime update of this season's Star Destroyer Bombardment, and June 7th of course is our live event to end off the season, Death Star Sabotage. The interesting thing about the Mandalorian Rising content that's upcoming on May 22nd, however, is that it's all going to be leaked in the files anyways in the 35.10 first of 2 downtime updates this season, which is now reconfirmed for May 15th according to data miners. This is also the same day that General Grievous is going to be releasing alongside all the other awards on page 2 that we don't currently know of, as in the files already we do have not only the skin but the Lego version, we have this sticker called Grievous Grip, we have the Grievous Stare spray and the Heart of Grievous spray as well. Then we have this one with him fighting Mace Windu, even though it would have been more iconic to have Obi-Wan there. Then we have the Saber Collector wrap, which obviously is in General Grievous kind of theme or style. And then, even more interestingly than that, we have a loading screen showing General Grievous in his normal form before he was kind of like made into a robot and stuff like that, which I'm guessing we're going to see in a selectable style form on page 2 for the final big question mark, kind of like we did last season with Outlaw Midas, obviously being shown in a loading screen like this for the first time, before then being revealed in a future updates downtime to be an edit style coming for the character. Speaking of General Grievous and selectable styles, however, he cannot be a super style, as typically the secret or separate category skin now, as it's not really secret with them revealed at the start of the season. Not like back in the day with the old blockbuster skin and these silhouettes that we saw in chapter 1 before they got revealed halfway through. As we know from the past, these never received one of these super style variants across many stages of pages in a normal length season, but this time we only have one page of super styles, kind of like Fortnite OG, where we saw the gold remix versions of only 3 of the skins, I believe, and then also chapter 2 remix, where like this season we only saw 4 of the skins revamped, and this didn't apply to Dynamo TNTina, which that season was this secret or separate section skin. Not recently, but in the past, Fortnite have typically liked incorporating the colour gold into these styles going forward, especially the last phase or stage of these final 3 super style pages as previously mentioned. So with that said, as they did in OG, as they applied gold to the characters that they revamped in these super styles, obviously past the max level in the battle pass to unlock, here is what the super style page could look like this season, entirely covered in gold, with some exceptions to like the eyes of this Golden Apprentice Eevee skin, and then in battle pass unlocking order, the gold version of Poe Dameron, then the Wookiee team leader skin covered entirely in gold, and last but not least, Emperor Palpatine himself covered in gold, which could be a possibility as the Death Star in the trailer seems to be targeting Lone Wolf Lair, where Fletcher Kane seemed to be wanting to gather all of this gold from his apprentices in the chapter 6 season 2 trailer. Don't forget too, gold's not going anywhere this chapter, or especially going into next season, as Midas supposedly runs this superhero academy, and obviously he got reintroduced in his outlaw form just last season, with his gold touch also making a reappearance on the island. It's hard to think of a time when Midas wasn't involved in Fortnite now, as he's had so many different variants of his own skin and selectable styles granted. However, one of the most important things regarding next season is the fact that the season end time has now been made 12 hours earlier. It now ends on June 7th at 6:30 PM UTC, and this likely means extended downtime after the event, and that the event Death Star Sabotage happens at 6:30 PM UTC. Notice how in the image Hypex actually attached to this post or tweet, it shows a lot of superhero-like characters. The reason for that being is because not only on June 7th are we going to be seeing the ending of this season and the start of next, but also the same going for OG Chapter 1 Season 4, and even a brand new Lego pass at the same time. So we're getting 3 new passes all in the same day, but specifically what's the most interesting is the fact that if you didn't know or were OG enough to play Chapter 1 Season 4 back in the day, in the OG times before the mode released, this had a heroes versus villains theme, and obviously toward the end of the season we saw the first live event in-game commence from a villain that we thought back then being the Visitor launching the rocket at the villain lair. And despite the comet being in the sky right now, of course, that we can see in the OG mode, which is technically a part of story or event development, this never crashed into the island live. We only saw that in the Chapter 1 Season 4 trailer, creating Dusty Divot and changing the map. But in terms of even Chapter 1 Season 4, if you didn't know, Tim the Tapman, when OG released as a mode, actually confirmed from Epic Games documents that we're going to be seeing all of these live events commence throughout Chapter 1 seasons once again.
It's alright.
I'm doing a 2-hour sponsorship with Fortnite, just heads up.
Hashtag ad.
Hashtag ad. Also, in the document they sent over, it says there is going to be the live events again, by the way.
Oh, that's lit.
So,
that's awesome.
I read it.
That's going to be awesome, wow.
So they're going to replay, so it's literally going to go, I mean, that's insane.
As for these live events in OG, you may be wondering what happens after the Black Hole or End Event 1 at the end of Chapter 1 in Season X, or OG Season X. Well, apparently OG Chapter 2 is happening. According to an anonymous source from FNBR Leaks Discord server, we should receive a Chapter 2 OG mode after Season X of Chapter 1. Although I cannot contribute to this rumour, it would definitely make sense, which definitely does, as by the time we get to Chapter 1 Season X OG, everybody will be wanting allowing this mode to change onto a new island, being the start of Chapter 2 what we once saw. And even though right now we've not entered the phase of seeing in the final days of Chapter 1 Season 3 OG the meteors, the smaller ones crashing down onto the island, as again we only saw the giant one creating Dusty Divot actually hit the island, creating this giant crater in the trailer. Despite all the content you'll have been seeing surrounding the Fortnite Pro-Am event recently, which was an absolute blast. Amongst all of this chaos, of course, Fortnite have revealed the first remix skin for OG Chapter 1 Season 4, which will be upcoming, not entirely detailed, with an FNCS logo in front of his face, but we can definitely tell that we're getting a remix version of the Visitor to be one of the 3 skins we see in each OG pass, with a total of 45 rewards, and I'm guessing the other 2 are going to be different remix versions of Carbide and also Omega, hopefully that we can unlock some sort of light system for, easier than the initial Season 4. Considering OG is tweaked from its original form, as we already have rifts in Season 3 which weren't introduced until Paradise Palms was in Season 5, alongside ziplines which weren't initially introduced until Chapter 1 Season 7, you know, the season that literally washed up the first snow biome to our Chapter 1 island, Polar Peak on it with the monster secretly underneath and airplanes that we could fly. This gives hope and validation to this theory that I found on X or Twitter, saying what if the new Visitor, you know, the remix version, is actually Jones becoming the Legend, as he mentioned another ulterior name for himself in the Collision Live event of Chapter 3 Season 2, just call me the Legend, as if he was joining the 7, considering he was obviously helping them, especially the Paradigm and the Foundation. Even crazier still, not just affecting Fortnite, but Rocket League and Fall Guys as well, apparently Epic Games now gives back 20% of the money you put into either of these 3 games, and it's a permanent change, and you can use this money for any product on the Epic Games store, which actually, after being introduced, did crash the Fortnite item shop, but obviously this is fixed now. Fortnite are doing so much to expand lately, with it finally returning after so many years of being stuck in Chapter 2 Season 3 to iOS or Apple devices, or just ultimately Fortnite Mobile returning as people would call it. It seems some stigma's still there on Apple's end, however, considering Fortnite on May 9th posted to X or Twitter, we've submitted Fortnite to Apple for review so we can launch on the App Store in the US. And then 22 hours ago from me recording, Mark Gurman, who posts breaking news on Apple and tech, so knows quite a lot about this stuff, said 90% of apps review within 24 hours. Per Apple, we are now on hour 25. This is going to be interesting, and that was, again, 22 hours after the fact, so it's obviously the 2-day mark plus now when you're watching this video. Initially, the free Fortnite movement, which of course caused Fortnite to be removed off the App Store, actually went down, with it cheapening V-Bucks, obviously giving us the discount for what tax Apple would charge, I believe it was. We did get one of the biggest V-Buck compensations on our accounts in history, alongside a free reward, so maybe perhaps we do get a free reward once it is reinstated on the App Store in the US. Drop a like if you'd like to see that, and subscribe for more with all notifications turned on so you don't miss any future uploads. And don't forget, I'm an Epic partner, so enter code FM1 in the shop now. I don't make the rules, Charlie the Charcoal Pug does. It's an incredibly hot day, you know the drill. Don't let this little pug down. Enter the code now. As for where you go to now, click either of these 2 videos YouTube's recommended you. It's a good suggestion whilst you wait for the next upload I do publish here on the channel.